Hey guys, welcome to free online tailoring video. This is day 2 and I am Bhavani from dewanisfashion. Quickly subscribe to our channel for regular updates. In today's video, we can see important parts of sewing machine, general rules for sewing, threading, kerchief drafting and sewing. Before going into the video, kindly pause the screen for some time and list down the important parts of sewing machine. The needle is a thin pointed metal rod that carries the thread and pierces the fabric, creating stitches. We saw about needle in the last video. The link is given in the description. Just above the needle, you have the needle bar. You can see it's moving. The needle bar helps to hold the needle. In between the needle bar and the needle, there is a small screw which is called the needle clamp. This part is called as pressure foot. Pressure foot applies pressure to keep the fabric flat and steady while stitching. The tiny screw above the pressure foot is called pressure foot screw. The rod above the pressure foot is called the pressure foot bar. For attaching piping or zipper, you have a single pressure foot. In that case, you have to remove the pressure foot. You can remove it with the help of the pressure foot screw. I will show you the different type of pressure foot in the next video. This part is called as pressure foot lifter. You can move up and down so that the pressure foot will move up. You can change the cloth. This one, you can move the pressure foot using your thigh. If you move with your thigh, the pressure foot moves up and down. You can use this lever for turning the cloth, adjusting the cloth so that the pressure foot can lift up for some time. If you want to totally lift the cloth and change the cloth, use the lifter which is in the back side. The metal teeth located beneath the pressure foot are called feed dogs. They move the fabric forward and backward during stitching, helping to create even stitches. Bobbin is a small spool that holds the lower thread. It is placed inside the bobbin case and works in conjunction with the needle to form stitches on the underside of the fabric. The bobbin case located beneath the needle plate and helps to control the tension of the lower thread. Shuttle and shuttle carrier located beneath the sewing machine. The inside part is shuttle, the outer part is the shuttle carrier. It helps to hold the bobbin case. The needle plate or thread plate provides a smooth surface for the fabric to move across and often has markings to guide for stitching. It also has a tiny hole through which the needle passes. This part is the tension screw. Behind the tension screw, you have the tension spring. Behind the tension spring, you have two discs. These are called thread tension discs. These discs are usually located near the thread guides and are adjustable so that you can control the tension of the upper thread. Hand wheel or side wheel located on the side of the machine. It manually controls the up and The reverse stitch lever allows you to sew stitches in the reverse. By holding down the lever, the machine will move backward. When you keep sewing, when you press the lever downwards, the machine will go back and then come forward. The thread take-up lever is a metal arm that moves up and down with the needle. It helps to regulate the flow of the upper thread and prevents tangling or uneven stitches. These two buttons are the power switches. It helps to turn the sewing machine on and off. It controls the electric supply for a sewing machine. The spool pin is a vertical rod or spindle located on top of the machine. It holds the spool of thread that provides the upper thread for stitching. These are the thread guides. These thread guides are small metal or hooks that help guide the thread from the spool to the needle. They ensure that the thread follows the correct path and maintains proper tension while stitching. As already shown as spool pin, it holds on a stand which is called the thread stand. In some sewing machines, particularly the industrial models, there may be a separate thread stand that holds larger thread of spools. It provides easier thread feeding and can accommodate higher volume of thread. The foot pedal which is also known as the foot controller, is a device that allows for hands-free operation on the sewing machine's speed. By pressing down the pedal, you control the machine's motor and determine the sewing speed which you want. The stitch length dial enables you to adjust the length of the stitches. By turning the dial, you can choose shorter or longer stitch length depending on your sewing needs. You have the number on the stitch length dial. If you want to turn the dial in anti-clockwise, press the reverse lever below the stitch length dial and then turn the regulator to anti-clockwise. This is the bobbin winder. The bobbin winder mechanism winds the thread onto the bobbin. In some machines it is on the side, the others on the top. Behind the bobbin winder is the bobbin stopper. It stops the bobbin once the thread is full in the bobbin. This part of the machine is called as the center bar. The motor located beneath the sewing machine and it is attached to its wheel. This is the belt attached to the sewing machine wheel and the motor wheel for running. This part is the sewing machine stand. These are some of the main important parts of the sewing machine, although the specific design and features may vary depending on the model and brand. General rules for sewing. Sit erect when sitting on a sewing machine. Before sewing, make sure to take a piece of cloth and wipe the sewing machine thoroughly. Check whether the needle is properly fixed. Belt should be in correct fixation. Choose the thread suitable for your cloth and check whether it has properly inserted in necessary places. Use same color thread as the cloth. Spool pin thread and the bobbin pin thread should be the same. Check whether the tension screws are in proper friction. It shouldn't be too tight nor too loose. With the help of stitches regulator, you can change the length of the stitch based on the type of cloth which you are going to use. When stitching, make sure to keep more cloth on your left side and less cloth on your right side. Always place the scissors on your right hand side. Once you finished stitching, make sure to switch off the power button, push down the pressure foot lifter and keep the needle inside and close the sewing machine with a wooden cover or a plastic cover. First, let us see how to roll thread in the bobbin. Take a bobbin which suits to your sewing machine. Every machine have a bobbin winder. In some basic machines you don't have a winder. That time you have to roll the thread manually. Fix the bobbin into the bobbin winder. Take the thread from the spool. Insert it in the necessary holes. In some machines you will have instructions like how to place the thread to the bobbin winder. Please follow that. In my machine we have a tension screw for the bobbin winder also. So I went through the tension screw, then I rolled the thread to the bobbin. Then switch on the power of the sewing machine. Whenever you wind the thread to the bobbin, make sure to take off the needle from the sewing machine. Pull up the pressure foot. In some machines, you will have an option where the pressure foot doesn't move. In that case, you need not take out the needle. Once the bobbin is full, it will automatically stop. Then you can remove the bobbin and attach it to the case. This is the bobbin case. Put the bobbin inside the bobbin case. You will have a tiny cut in the bobbin case. Pull the thread to the cut and through the tiny hole next to the cut. Pull the thread and see, you should have the correct friction. Neither too tight nor too loose. The open side should be faced upwards. The sharper side should be faced towards you. And fix it in the shuttle. When you press the bobbin case to the shuttle, you will get a click sound. It means you have fixed it properly. Now the upper part of the thread. Take the thread from the spool pin and allow it in all the thread guides. The thread guide near the spool pin, then to the tension and the small hook like thing near the tension. See, when you're inserting the thread near the tension, the thread should come in between the two discs, not behind, not forward, in between the two discs like shown in the video. Then come through the hook next to the tension. Then the another thread guide. And to the thread take up lever. Then to the side thread guide. And finally to the needle. Always make sure the thread you are inserting to the needle should come from left to right. If the needle is faced towards you, then from forward to backward. Either left to right or forward to backward, based on the sewing machine. Pull the upper thread with your hand. Slowly insert the needle in and out. The bobbin thread from the under comes out. Can you see? Then pull out the bobbin thread. See both the friction of the thread, then secure it on the back side. Take a piece of cloth. Always don't stitch with a single cloth. Fold the cloth or use two pieces of cloth. Place it under the pressure foot, switch on the power and start sewing. First see whether the stitches are coming on a straight line and whether you can handle the machine properly. Using the reverse lever, now practice tight stitch. When sewing, you press the reverse lever, the needle goes back and comes forward. Whenever you sew the clothes, at starting and end, you should tighten the stitch so that the stitches doesn't come out. Practice tight stitch starting and end in a waste cloth, so that when sewing it will be easier for you to tighten the stitches. Keep practicing until you can stitch correctly. Let's start with lesson 1, kerchief. Pause the video for some time and note down the measurements. Height is 10 inch and width is also 10 inch. Add 1 inch seam allowance. So total 11 inch by 11 inch. In the video I have shown 10 inch by mistakenly, kindly apologize. Materials required are a piece of cloth, a marking chalk, a pair of scissors, an inch tape, a long scale. Open the cloth. Make sure the cloth is neatly ironed, then measure 11 inch. Again, here I have shown 10 inch by mistakenly, but you can take 11 inch as per the measurement. Make sure you do the markings on all 4 sides and all the lines should be straight. Before drafting in any cloth, your cloth should be ironed properly and there should be no wrinkles. After drafting, carefully cut out the cloth with the scissors. Before starting to sew any cloth, first do stitching with the rough cloth, then start sewing your main cloth. To fold the edges of the kerchief. The starting stitch, you should tighten it. Press along the cloth so that it will be easy for you to stitch. When practicing, please use cotton cloth so that you can handle it easily. See? When you're stitching, you should stitch in the corner, not at the edge, but on the folded corner. This part. I've used different color thread for you to understand. You can use same color thread as the color of the cloth. The stitch should come properly at the edge of the folding. Do not deviate. Stop before 2 inch so that you can fold the another edge and sew continuously. Always when you are stopping, put the needle inside. See, stop at the edge, put the needle inside, turn the cloth, again fold the edges and sew through the corner. I mean the folded corner. Make sure the stitch comes properly without any deviation. Always stop before 1.5 inch at the corners. Fold the other end, then start sewing. Whenever you are turning the cloth, put the needle inside. When the needle is out, the cloth also moves out. That's why we are putting the needle inside, so that when you are turning, the cloth doesn't come out of the sewing machine. Practice rough stitches in a piece of cloth, then start sewing the kerchief. If the stitches are coming out properly, you can go to the next lesson. Otherwise, you have to keep practicing until you get the correct stitches. Always tighten at the start of the stitching and also at the end. Since we are stitching continuously, I did not tighten anywhere. Only in the starting I have done. Now when finishing, I am going to tighten the stitches. Tightening is done by the reverse lever. When you press the reverse lever, the needle goes behind and comes forward, so that you will leave 2-3 stitches when you go forward and backward. Now see clearly, I am tightening the stitches. Then cut it out. When finishing also, use a piece of cloth and leave the sewing machine so that it will be useful when you stitch the next material. The stitches should be perfect. Once it is perfect, you are ready for the next class. In next class we can see brief. I will also show you the piping foot and how to oil the machine. Thank you for watching my video. Do comment for any suggestions, doubts and queries. Thanks once again.